the average artist, every one of them have their own unique beginning. As an R&B artist, and let me tell you, you are the first R&B artist. Uh, as an R&B artist, how does it begin for them? Well, for you, your journey.
Well, for me, man, I grew up in a single mother household.
Okay.
I had siblings. I had to deal with my father being murdered at a very young age. So, having to do that, I kind of had to grow up quicker than most kids could. You know what I mean? So, I was full of anger. I couldn't find myself. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And we needed money. Like moving from home to home every year was just kind of rough. I was living in D.C., going to school in Virginia because my mother wanted me to go to school in Virginia just to get that education. So I think music is the way that music happened for me. Like, which what really put me on with this was, I was like, I need to do something to kind of just heal my soul. You know, if you listen to radio, every song it creates some kind of feeling. And I said, I need to do that, because I didn't have anyone around me to really help me. I couldn't talk to anybody. I was like, I was 6 or 7 and I had no one to talk to. So I said, let me start just singing. I was writing music. It started out like poetry. And then, I started listening to music and said, I can actually put this to some instruments. From there, I just started writing to people like Boys the Men and Drew Hill and, cats like that. And I said, you know what, this is something right here. I felt better. I began to express myself better. You know what I mean? And I expressed myself through my music, and people started really, being in tune to what I was saying and what I was doing. So that's kind of how I really took this music and started this music thing. It's just through just these unfortunate life experiences, the things I had to endure, and from there I just kind of ran with it.
Wow, man, that's deep. To come from such a shattered background, but to put the pieces together and find your purpose. That's deep, man. Speaking on the poetry that you said you started with, what type of poetry was it, and how did you formulate it to words that makes music?
Well, you know, the, the poetry that I wrote at first was real angry. I was really angry. I had the death in my family. I couldn't be a kid. I couldn't do the things that normal kids did. So a lot of it was just like, I guess they classified as emo. You know what I mean? Like, I was just going through it. I was writing things about, just losing life and not being happy and, things like that. But as I started writing more and kind of just understanding what I was going through, things kind of became more of like a love thing because I got over the, being angry. Now I was in that portion of that part of my life where I need to love myself. I need to love others. So I started writing a lot of love poetry. You know what I mean? And from there, I said, well, that's what they do in R&B music every day. They're writing love poetry, except they're putting music behind it, and they're using their voice. And I was real shy. To be honest, I wouldn't sing in front of anybody because I was really shy. So I would kind of sing to myself. I find my own little hole in the wall somewhere and just try to sing the poetry that I wrote and try to formulate it just like the pros did it on the radio. What's my first verse? What's my hook? Where's my bridge? Does this line up like a story? Does it have a climax? And I broke it down, just because I was like, I can make this work for myself. You know what I mean? And I think other people who were going through the same situations as myself, they started feeling what I was doing because, like I said, I had to grow up quick. So a lot of my peers, they still had that young mentality, that young mind. So I could kind of talk to them in a different way, almost so that they respected me like I was an elder, but I wasn't an elder. Like I had a buddy of mine, he used to call me the mother goose of the crew. You know what I mean? Because I always had the answer. You know, but there's pros and cons of that. You know, when you always have the answers, that means that no one expects you to be in a hole or have a problem. So they never ask you, what's your problem? You know, are you okay? It was no one ever did that for me. It was always me saying, hey man, lending my hand out. You okay, man? What can I do for you? You know, so there's pros and cons to the whole situation.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of artists seem to be going through that no matter what level they're on. They lend a hand out, but the hand is not lent back. But what I learned with that experience is, once again, as you said, that's the leader.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes, you know, to be a leader. You're the octopus, but nothing's